Welcome to This Week in Black Media, April 10th, 2019. We have less videos than usual this week. That's because I want to concentrate on the ADOS movement and some of the critiques that we've seen about Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore. Personally, as far as their leadership is concerned, with the movement at the state that it is today, which is the most momentum and national attention the reparations movement has had in our history here in North America. If I am incorrect, someone please do correct me, but I don't think it's ever garnered the attention, the response, or the continued growth that it has at this juncture. In this video here that I've hyperlinked, she discusses immigrant that is criticizing the ADOS movement, and she goes in on him, rightfully so, and there's a certain degree of arrogance involved in that, and I think that can fairly be said for any immigrant that is criticizing the movement as not feasible, or even having the opinion that other groups are more fit to lead it without providing any evidence whatsoever that Antonio or Yvette are incompetent to lead the movement, which there is no data supporting that whatsoever. The main argument I've seen there is based on absence of evidence that they have a plan, which is a ridiculous notion, particularly when we look at the professional background of Antonio Moore. The man is an attorney. He specializes in the preparation of cases in one side of an argument or the other. To think that they don't have a plan is naive, I suspect, and it shows a personal vendetta against them that I also suspect is not going to be tolerated within the ADOS community. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have them disrespected. There will be blowback for that. And all they have to do is keep trying. No, they are to be left alone. And I am certain that what I say here will be chimed by other voices in black media. You see? So that brings us to the other videos that I want to point out here, because what we see is some of the critics of the ADOS movement come from former reparations organizations, like members of NCOBRA, who have been around for decades. I tried to join that organization almost 30 years ago, over 30 years ago, I think. It would have been the late 80s or early 90s, but I was never responded back to. So I think rather than critique Yvette and Antonio, or rather that the critiques on Yvette and Antonio, if when they come from other people that consider themselves leaders in the movement or even pioneers in the movement, what would we have to respect that? But the critiques or any kind of attack takes away from the movement. You see, if they were concentrated on the movement itself, the personal attacks would be irrelevant. They'd try to work together. You see, you can't change who has momentum. You have to respect that, as far as I'm concerned. And Antonio and Yvette have the momentum. And you check the track record, and this is what they have done. It is not a side agenda for them. It is not a hot topic, popular issue for them to commentate on. It's what they do. Check the videos back for a period of years. The message is consistent. They should be rewarded. The very difficult position that they are finding themselves in. You know, it's one of those things where be careful what you wish for, because there's going to be a lot of pressure, all kinds of it, and it is sad to see it come, negative pressure or negative texts come from our own community, which, if you've watched the videos here, I anticipated that. That's just human nature. So infighting is unappealing, to say the least. Even in the regards to Tariq Nasheed down here. Tariq has been attacked because his background isn't politics, that he shouldn't commentate on the reparations movement, which doesn't make sense at all. And when you look at the size of his platform and his consistency discussing the movement, I think he should be commended for that. Certainly encouraged, and no one's going to tolerate him being attacked either. You see, and particularly with the immigrant critics that we've seen. See, it's everyone has a right to their opinion, but I do believe this is a subject that they should stay in their lane. If anything, let it be by members of our own community that critique it. Because you do any research on it, the immigrants that have received benefits here in this country, it's been built off the backs of black Americans, of those members of VEDOS. This brings us to this video from Lisa Cabrera, where she addresses the H.R. 40 being represented in Congress with a new phase, but that the bill is essentially empty. Cory Booker has presented a better bill. I didn't get a chance to hyperlink that. So that shows some progress, and Yvette said that in another recent video. But this H.R. 40 bill, it's talking about a reparations study. It doesn't need to be studied. The data is overwhelming. As a group, the descendants of slaves in America are warranted reparations for the immense moral atrocity that has taken place with us since our arrival here, 400-year mark, here approaching soon. So this brings us to pioneers. We have here's a video from Boyce Watkins, who I also like very much, and with Dr. Claude Anderson, who has been consistent about it, been consistent about the movement. And you know, I have never seen Dr. Anderson say anything negative about Yvette or Antonio. It seems he's consistent with just on the movement itself. So essentially what I'm getting at is the critiques that they're receiving are unwarranted. You know, and absence of evidence is not a decent argument. They don't have a plan. We haven't seen a plan. What puts a person in a position to demand a plan outside of what has been presented on their website that is accessible to anybody? Plans are based on data. Very simple. What kind of research are you doing there? Then you check their sources, and you look at Professor Darity, who has a exemplary record on the subject. They know what they're doing. It's a political game being played. How can you come forth with an agenda without knowing the field? The field is still being established, and if you read between the lines of Yvette's last video, you will see that. Cory Booker has presented a new bill. You see, she might not have said it explicitly, but they have to calculate from that. So the table hasn't been set yet for what the conversation is going to be. And any critiques against them are empty, based on personal agenda, as far as I'm concerned. And as a community, because that's another thing that the immigrant critics are threatened by, is that tribal identity is emerging among the ADOS, the American descendants of slaves. Some of them find that deeply intimidating. I think it's a beautiful thing. And do not get me wrong for one moment to think that I have anything against any immigrant that comes here whatsoever. I do not, or that I see my African brothers and sisters from the continent or the diaspora in any negative light whatsoever. I do not. I embrace them if they embrace me and our people, you see. I'm a Pan-Africanist that way. That does not change the fact and the reality that we have a specific justice claim in this country that we have a right to before anyone else should be given the benefits of the suffering of our people. It's very simple. It's very simple. And those that contest it, I suspect they should prepare to get run over. Because this thing is moving. There's a fire in it, and it's old. So, yeah, so I'm going to call that short today. But, my money is here, and I'm not a betting person. It's more of a metaphor, but When they come with their plan, when Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore come with their plan, there ain't going to be nothing but crickets. Because they're going to have covered all of it. They think better than their critics. That's my analysis. Time will tell. I'm also, in closing, I almost forgot that, what I'm also seeing in these videos, I'm seeing them in Tariq's videos, I'm seeing them in Yvette and Antonio's videos, I've seen them in multiple videos of our media producers, I've seen them in the Black Authorities videos, I've seen them in Professor Black Truth's videos. They're coming with the images. They're coming with the images of the slavery. They're coming with the images of the lynchings. They're coming with the images of the burnings. They're coming with the images. They're repeating the images. That's what we need, is the images to remind us of why we're doing it. See, I come with the images. They ban the video. But when enough of us are coming with the video, with the images, that's what wakes things up. You see, our Jewish cousins talk about never forget. We have more to never forget than anybody in human history. Facts. It is time. So, on that note, as always, until next week, continue to watch and support Black media